Couldn't resist starting with the Battle of Britain. It is Tuesday, the 13th of August, 2013. We are live. Broadcasting around the world on awakeradio.co.uk and on Blog Talk Radio as well. Good evening to everybody.
Good evening.
We are back then. My first job to say is to say a big thank you to Thomas Sheridan last week. Absolute fine job. Thoroughly, absolutely enjoyed sitting with him.
I enjoyed the show. I listened back to it.
Yeah, it worked very well. And for you YouTube listeners, if you've caught us again, did have a few problems with YouTube last week. Took a little bit of uploading the show. We had to re-edit it a couple of times. God knows what was wrong, but we're on, and it wasn't just us. So the paranoia wasn't just limited to us. Lots of people were having problems with YouTube last week. So we are back, and we're back. We sat down, settled in with our massive audience of two here.
Yes.
So good evening to Pete and to Joanne, who sat with us as well. Well, another 7 days have passed. Died, left behind. We can discuss them, but we can't change them, can we?
No.
We can't change any part of what's happened in the last 7 days. But a lot of people sit talking about what they would if they could. But they can't. You know, a lot of people are talking about. They're talking about a dream world of what we would do if the system wasn't like this, and what we could achieve if the system wasn't like this, and what a brilliant money system we could invent if we didn't have this one, and how we could make it so righteous and virtuous and fair.
Yeah.
These are dreams.
They are dreams.
They're conversations with little value, because we're not dealing with the problem that's right in front of us, which is the corruption that is now stealing not only your future and mine, because my future depends on my customers having some money to spend with me.
Yeah, mine
and
too.
So does yours.
Yeah.
Now, in this wonderful world of slavery, and if you don't think you're a slave, please stop listening to the show. This could actually ruin your week. It could ruin your month. It might actually change your life. So please stop listening if you don't think you're a slave. You might not be, but I think the majority of people listening are slaves.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you how you can tell if you're a slave. It's a real simple method that appears to be absolutely accurate in all cases. Ready?
Yeah.
Do you work for somebody else?
Frequently.
Isn't the real bottom line that we're prostitutes? Isn't that what it is, really? That we're selling our time, selling our labour to the highest bidder? And aren't I, myself personally with a shop, aren't I just the other end of the scale? Selling my service?
Yeah.
With your,
That's what I do. I sell my services.
You're providing your service.
Yeah.
But you cannot eat if somebody doesn't want your service.
No, I can't.
We cannot provide for ourselves in a way that we can avoid working.
No, we can't.
We cannot sit home and have the things we need provided for us. Well, yes, we can. That's social security. Yeah, but that's stealing, isn't it? You see, that's stealing. The welfare state it's not going to fare well for us at all.
No.
Because farewell is you say farewell when things come into an end. That is the goodbye, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because we're not going to fare well. We're going to fare badly, aren't we?
We certainly are.
Now, there are lots of people who say that this is a system built upon chaos, and by trying to put an order out of the chaos, we do humanity evolves through stumbling and falling and bumping into this, but it's like a bumper cars type evolution.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't read much, have they?
No,
they haven't read much at all,
no,
have they? Really,
from what I can gather, none of it's like that.
They've been to that modern day library for people who don't read. Mm-hmm. Do you know what it's called?
Yeah.
Do you know what it's called?
Usually in your real living room. I use it quite a lot.
No, we've got an even better modern day library now for people who just won't read.
Oh.
It's called YouTube.
That's what I thought. Yeah, the internet.
It's the modern day digital library for people who won't read. Mm. Have you not noticed that? Is it true, Your Honour? My lord, my learned friend.
My learned friend.
Bear with me a second.
I will.
Is it not true that the division between us and them above can be partly blamed on what they read and what we don't?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Would you say that was true?
I would, yeah.
Would you say that the gurus in the alternative moving about truth thing, don't those gurus just never-endingly quote books that they've read? Aren't the presentations mainly consisting of this book and this quote and that quote?
Yeah. And
so-and-so said this and so-and-so. Isn't it just a jigsaw puzzle that they've made themselves from other people's work?
It certainly is, yeah.
It's just a mural, isn't it?
That's just what we do, isn't it? That's all we do.
So which bit's original?
Which is original, yeah. We don't know.
What's original?
You're only reading what somebody else has written. And where did they get that from?
Somebody else.
Yeah. The research continues. Is that why it's called research?
So following that vein then, nothing's new.
No.
Nothing can be new. Or at least what we find cannot be new.
No, it's only new to you.
Yeah.
Mm.
So what are we doing? What are we doing?
It's madness, isn't it? You can drive yourself mad thinking about it.
But we've got this God-given tool.
Oh, yes.
This God... I mean, that was the quote, wasn't it? From
one guest.
Don't tell you.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
God-given. Mm. This is it. Our saviour. Saviour my armpits. This thing's not going to save us at all. This is pulling your head off.
It is.
Shall we do a new... hello, everybody. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Shall we pick a news story?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's try and do one, then at least we can say that we've done the news. Mm-hmm. Because I often say, all these radio shows that I listen to, they don't do the news.
And we don't do it either.
and I know that the news is designed to break us.
Yeah.
Because breaking news just keeps coming and coming and coming in waves. Because waves are called breakers, aren't they?
They are, yeah.
Oceania, decoding, coming. It can't help it. No. Can't help it. But it just happens.
Yeah. It comes in waves.
It does come in. It does. Drip by drip. Pick a news story. Let's try and get off what we normally do.
A little bit light-hearted one here. We've got. I think you've got to read this with a bit of tongue-in-cheek.
Oh, is this the bank guy?
Yes, it's the man who created own credit card sues bank for not sticking to terms.
Now this is brilliant, right? Because we don't actually know if these news stories, by the way, our mantra is we don't know if they're true.
We don't know if they're true,
right?
No.
Because they're coming thick and fast.
Yeah.
Fast and thick. But they are coming, and it's a never-ending stream. It's almost an avalanche of news stories. And should you try and read most of them, you'll remember none of them.
No.
Remember none, because there's two ways of learning. The first is to read, and the second is to repeat it out so somebody else gets it as well. In other words, you can watch how something's done, but you only know you've learnt it when you can do it yourself. So that's the two ways of sort of learning, isn't it?
Yeah.
And if you repeat it in a way that somebody finds it unattractive, uninteresting, or downright annoying, you haven't really got it. You haven't really got that bit right. Now, there's a lesson to be learned here, and it's about contracts, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Because we live in a world of contracts, and people say contracts. What does contract mean to you?
Yeah, just to make smaller.
And that's what they do, isn't it? The contracts that we appear to be signing make them more powerful than we.
Yeah.
And why is that? It's because we agree with their contract. Now, this fella has taken it upon himself to do something that perhaps we should all at least enjoy this story.
Yeah. I think he's Russian, because it says when Dmitry Argakov was sent a letter offering him a credit card, he found the rates not to his liking. So what he did, he didn't throw away the contract or shred it. Instead, the 42-year-old from Russia scanned it in his computer, altered the terms, and sent it back to the Tinkoff credit systems.
I bet they were ticked off at all.
I bet they were. Tinkoff. Mr. Agakov's version of the contract contained 0% interest rate, no fees, no credit limit. Every time the bank failed to comply with the rules, he would fine them 3 million rubles, which is about 59 pounds. And if Tinkoff tried to cancel the contract, we'd have to pay him 6 million rubles. But some amendments that he'd failed to read on the credit card agreement. It says here, the bank confirmed its agreement to the client's terms and sent him a credit card and a copy of the approved application form. And it opened his credit line, and its credit line was unlimited. So in effect, you could afford to buy an island.
Now, this is a very entertaining news story. Now, we're not advocating doing this.
No.
Okay, because he's going to get into bother.
Oh.
Because what he's done is he's actually counterfeited their document.
He has, yes.
He hasn't submitted his own contract in exchange.
No.
No, he hasn't. He's not negotiated the contract terms and conditions. He's gone and counterfeit theirs.
Yes.
So we're not saying do this, but we are saying that we've forgotten. We've forgotten that in the world of contracts, a contract can only exist between 2 living people. All right, with 2 signatures on it. Now, most of you should know this by now, and if you don't, well, you should. And that forms the basis of a contract.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we're dealing in the dead entities, aren't we? Because corporations are the dead entities.
Yes.
In fact, corporations could even be said, they could said to be the zombies at the very top of this food chain that are feeding off us.
Yeah.
They are the living dead, aren't they? They are the living dead. They've been given the illusion of life, and they're raping us all. The zombie game goes right down the line. We did that a little bit last week with Thomas. But, the corporations or the cooperations really, aren't they?
They are cooperating.
Because we see competition at this level between Morrison's and Asda and Tesco and BP and Texaco and Shell and whoever. We see competition between what we see are the recognised big corporations.
Yeah.
But my understanding must conclude that at the very top of this pyramid, the hymn sheet is the same. Mm-hmm. The actual competition is just created, so the management teams keep on their game.
It's false competition.
Yeah,
it's cartel system.
Yeah, but it keeps the management on the and the stockholders and the shareholders and that sort of thing. They demand that the profits are, and otherwise they won't support the business in the way that they do. So this is again just a more sophisticated form of slavery. But what I'm trying to say is that at the very top table, the money isn't there because they sit with the people who print the damn stuff.
Yes, they do.
We see that the bailouts are going to. Well, we don't even know where the bailouts are going half the time.
No,
they just disappear into the banking world, and we never really see them again.
No,
I don't see any benefit.
No,
I see lots of thievery.
Yeah,
I see lots of promises of infrastructure that never come. You know, I see lots of austerity, but the billions of pounds seem to just disappear into the ether, and we suspect we know where it goes. And it is just to balance banks' sheets, because they're having to take losses, but they're not suffering. It's us that are suffering. You know, we actually, at what point do you think that we should have to pay for another business's losses?
Exactly. They've done the crime and we're doing the time.
But this shows, doesn't it, that the government of the day is only the management team.
Yeah.
They have very little power. Very little power. They are the by traitors. Okay, they are by traitors.
Yeah.
And they are traitors on 2 levels. Okay, they actually betray us.
Yeah, they're a double agent.
Well, the art of war, the ultimate art of war, is betrayal.
Yeah.
It is a timely betrayal. You know, with the double cross.
Yeah, the double cross.
That's what our flag is. Our flag is the double cross, and was called double cross, and still lives in our language as the word double cross. To say one thing and do another. Yeah. And that's the system of government that we've had for an awful long time.
A long time,
A long time.
Yeah.
You know, it was come in peace, shoot to kill. You know, if you go back far enough. I mean, again, history gets fuzzy. And we can't prove any of it, because we're using the very devil's
system,
the very devil's advocate here, which is what I play the devil's advocate sometimes on purpose.
Yeah.
Because this is the devil. You know, we get a choice between the devil and the deep blue sea.
Yeah, we do.
Sun and sea. Blu-ray. See some.
Rock and a hard place.
Planet Hollywood. That's what I've thought of that one. I don't know where it came from.
Yeah.
Planet Hollywood. God bless them, they do, don't they?
They do, yeah.
God bless them. I've lost where I was.
They've got it planned down to the detail.
What was that used to? Oh, it was about contracts,
it was contracts, yes.
It was about contracts. It was about if you're the only one signing, you've signed an agreement.
Yes, that's all you've done.
You've agreed.
You've agreed
to whatever, and they, from time to time, your bank or other people will send you in the post changes to the terms and conditions.
They do, very regularly as well.
And if you wanted to, you could actually send it back saying that you don't agree.
Yes.
To the terms and conditions. And then they'll just close your account.
Then just close your account, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And recall it all in, yeah.
The way we're talking would lead the listener to think that we've given up the fight. Well, in one way we have. In the way of shouting and bawling at people that don't want to listen to us. In the way of going to sleep thinking that, there's a page in history reserved for me. I'm gonna do something that'll preserve me a place on a page of history. Yeah. But we've stopped. That never was the case. No. But I know lots of people, that is the very enthusiasm, the very, they know it maybe won't happen for them, but they want to be part of the day it all changes. Yeah. And there are too many people saying, it'll all end on this day and it'll all end on that day. And because we've been around this quite a long time now, they've all been wrong, haven't they? Yeah. All these end-of-the-world profiteers, right? It's not true. It hasn't happened yet, has it? No. And even though our entire lifetimes, we've been bobbling along, hitting a few potholes, encountering a few big hills, and then a few quick descents, even though that's been happening all our life, somehow we think it's going to all change soon. Yeah. I don't think it is.
No, I don't think it is.
I don't think it is. No, but it is changing faster.
Yes,
it is changing faster.
It's definitely speeding up.
And you have the internet, of course. The internet is, to buy or sell, you're going to have to go on here. Now, all government departments in the UK are putting all their services online. And I'm sure anybody who's had anything to do with government departments, the Department of Work and Pensions, the NHS, HMRC, they're all now insisting that you use their services online. And they give, I have to use them to submit my VAT return and my tax return, although that's done by somebody else for me. But again, my unique user ID is attached to that tax return and my VAT return. Yeah. And that is going to be your internet ID. That is going to be the ID that we're going to, we have an article there. We all know an internet ID is coming.
The activist post, internet facing multiple attacks, it says here, that's going with. And to stop these attacks, they're going to make sure that you... how can you believe that? The people that can actually do a cyber attack, they'll know how to get round those things. It's just anyway, we'd fall for it. It's like you said, it's part of the agreement to be able to go on the computer. You're going to have your ID number.
Well, yeah,
and if you don't want your ID number, you don't go on it.
But what do you do? What do you do after when you go on here, right? And you want a new service, okay? You mark it. You go to market.
Yeah.
Yeah. And because this is a show, you got a ticket. You've got to be ticketed.
Yes.
So what do? You bloody ticket.
You do.
So we got a market and ticket.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's all little boxes, isn't it? All little boxes. Little boxes. La 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 la. I'm on Simon and Garfunkel there. The boxer. Good evening to Phil, our VT editor, who was helping me test the broadcasting system on the wake on Sunday morning. We're doing a bit of a test for the new systems that I want to have a play with. Where'd that come from? Back to internet
back to
ID.
The internet IDs.
Back to internet. I've already got my unique ID through the HMRC. Thank you, issuing it through their gateway. Yeah. Isn't it great? Gateway.
I've just reading it. This in the activist post. It says here, if you want to sign up to the online identity ecosystem, you can already do so through Google or Yahoo.
You don't say.
Or by registering with the Identity Ecosystem Steering Group, or for short, the IDESG.
The Alphabet Spaghetti Gang.
Alphabet Spaghetti Gang, yeah.
If Al Qaeda stole a truck of alphabet spaghetti, if they blew that up, it could spell disaster. You got to laugh, you do have to laugh. But yeah, we're going to get I think it's called the real ID, isn't it, or the unique ID, or your internet ID. It's going to come.
Yeah.
It does say in the article there that all countries are sort of introducing it through their own governmental departments.
Yeah.
And my unique user ID starts with 999. I wonder if they know who I am. I always think 99 emerge
and see.
Yeah, get out of this box, get out of this cocoon, get out of your pod, emerge and see how much trouble you're in. Yeah, turn them 999s upside down, you get sex. This is a sex-based control system. Anybody who says it isn't doesn't know how it works. We're being pimped. We are prostitutes and we're being pimped. Yeah. We are being pimped by we've been pimped by our employers, and then we've been raped by the government and the tax office. Yeah, it's a tax after a tax after after a tax.
Yeah,
Mars attacks. A Mars a day helps you work, rest and play. And that's the planet of war, isn't it?
It is.
And what's our language based on? War. It's based on war.
Hello.
Because we are the warred against. And anybody who wants to check the word hell, you'll find that actually is the word war in Latin.
It is.
It is, yeah.
Our impulses are being redirected. We are living in an artificially induced state of consciousness that resembles sleep. The poor and the underclass are growing. Racial justice and human rights are non-existent. They have created a repressive society, and we are their unwitting accomplices. They are dismantling the sleeping middle class. More and more people are becoming poor. Their intention to rule rests with the annihilation of consciousness. We have been lulled into a trance. They have made us indifferent to ourselves, to others. We are focused only on our own gain. Please understand. They are safe as long as they are not discovered. That is their primary method of survival. Keep us asleep, keep us selfish, keep us sedated. We are their cattle. We are being bred for slavery. The revolution. Break their signal. Our transmitter is not powerful enough. The signal must be shut off at the source.
We play that clip on purpose, don't we?
Yeah.
Because that's more than 20 years ago, isn't it?
Will be, yeah.
You know, and just listening to that clip, if there's only one thing you get from that clip, nothing has changed. So if you've only been fighting this good fight for a year or two, well done for finding it. I'm not knocking you for that. It's been going on for an awful long time.
Long time, yeah.
In fact, this is the good fight that's always been spoken about throughout history. This is for those that discover and those that won't, because they won't recover. They won't recover this. It's us that are doing it. We're recovering it and seeing for ourselves, and they're not going to recover. Okay, they aren't going to recover. I mean, you only have to take the fleetingest of looks at history to realise that we've never had access to the same food that they have.
No,
we've never had a guarantee of clean water.
Nope.
And there's a quote from the guy, the CEO of Nestle. Says that clean water is it shouldn't be a right.
No.
Don't think it's a right to clean water. This is the way these people think and the way they've always thought, and we're led to believe that this is the most evil. This is the most evil version that's ever existed. It's the most corrupt.
It is.
But look in the mirror for the reason why they're getting away with it, because we know the food's been jacked. We don't eat the same food as them. We can't guarantee our water's clean, but we can filter it.
Yeah.
We can filter it, and we can do something about that.
Yeah.
The food's almost impossible to find. Clean food now.
Yeah.
I mean, the alternative is to take multivitamins and obviously formulations, whatever. But they don't have a guarantee either.
No.
They're not made in garages, are they?
No.
You know, they're made by some big pharmaceutical type setup, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah.
And to get a license to operate that and to fit in with the system, I mean, I think they call anything that doesn't actually fit in with their plans disruptive technology. Something like that. It's disruptive.
Yeah.
So we've got to accept that the things that we have access to are the things we're meant to have access to.
Mm.
So we can focus on the food fights. We can focus on the water fights. We can focus on the fact that we don't have access to the healthcare they have. And a lot of people talk about duality and synchronicity. And yet, when you ask them what it is, they don't always put in words what they mean by synchronicity, how everything is micro or macrocosm.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to give you something that you can use. And this is what I mean about it's put into reality at the bottom level, and believe me, we are the bottom. There's nobody below us. Not really. You know, if we were to stand together, we're all the same.
Yeah.
At this level we are. But let me give you an example of micro and macro, you know, the syntax, the synchronism, the synchronicity. Remember record players? Do you remember record players?
I do, yeah.
Those old wonderful things called record players.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that used to come across and play the record was called
an arm.
An arm.
Mm-hmm.
And the arm used to come across, and loaded into that arm at the end was a cartridge.
Mm-hmm.
Now we know the word cartridge. The word cartridge can be used to print ink.
Yeah.
Can be used to fire bullets.
Fire bullets, yeah.
And now we know it can be used to play tunes.
It can.
And what was on the end of that cartridge? It was something that was given the name stylus. Stylus.
Yeah. A needle before
And it was
that.
a needle, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The needle was the stylus on the cartridge that was the arm that made the tracks.
Yes.
Now, can you picture the words that I've just given you there and see how they're linked together? And you listen to what I've just said to you, and have you connected it to vaccinations?
Mm-hmm.
Have you done that? Because if you have, you've got a halfway thinking of how it's all connected together. And if you didn't connect it to vaccinations, you don't have it. And if you think it's not connected to vaccinations, then you're never going to get it. Because what we have at this level is so we think at this level. What they have above is a second decode.
Mm-hmm.
The duality itself. This is the first time in history that we've been speaking the same language as our masters. This is the first time. They've always had a language over and above the one that we've been using.
They have, yeah.
And they've always used it.
They have.
To maintain control and communicate between themselves.
Yes, it was used as a control.
Yes,
yeah.
of course it was.
They only spoke it between themselves.
This is the first time that we've had the same language.
Mm.
But it's not the same language. But we think it is. Because we think we can decode it.
Mm.
And we do decode it. And we always lose. And we still think we know what we're doing. This doesn't make sense, does it? You see, we're given, at this level, the nursery rhyme decode. And
Yeah.
above, they smile and congratulate themselves how well it's actually working.
Mm.
Paul, that's just rubbish. Listen back to some more shows. Listen to last week. Listen to the week before. Listen to the week before that. I don't try and give you this in one go. Because I didn't get it.
No,
I couldn't do that.
No, we couldn't have done it in one go.
You know,
We're still working on it now.
well, try and group the words together. Try and look at how the words have been grouped together, because they have been grouped. Let's do constitution.
Mm.
And then we get substitution. Then we get prostitution. Then we get institution. And then we get destitution. Have they been grouped together by chance?
Mm.
Well, of course they haven't. Because that's the cycle, isn't it? That is the cycle. That is the whirl.
It is now, just thinking which bit we fit into that now.
I think we've been institutionalised as a
Yes,
country, as a
we
society.
definitely
We've been
are
institutionalised.
yeah.
Now, some people will say that they individually are at different levels of that.
Mm.
But the Constitution,
right,
the
yeah,
Constitution means all's well with you.
Mm.
You may be kidding yourself. Now, substitution is where you're starting to pretend everything's okay and it isn't.
Mm.
Okay, prostitution is where you're pretty much selling yourself out. You're working your butt off.
Yeah.
Okay,
We all do that.
Well, yeah, we are prostitutes. We are, because prostitutes. The word that associates with prostitutes, and it's not a surprise that politicians and prostitutes go well together, because they both do the same thing.
They do.
I mean, to look at today's modern politicians, they are nothing. They are the very epitome of the dummy. They are the ventriloquist dummy, aren't they? They are the puppets on the strings. Because without politics, they're nothing. They have no other use. I mean, they do move into the corporations, but it's only because of the connections. It's only because they've been politicians and they have made connections in there. It's all networking.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
It is.
These people can't do anything. Not in the way that you and I can do things. You know, tying your own shoelaces, cooking a Sunday lunch and doing the ironing. That's probably beyond most of them. These are nannies' boys, aren't they?
They are.
These are nannies' boys.
Yeah.
Because they've been nannied. Remember when you said about Margaret Thatcher and how they all... who was it? Which comedian was it that brought that up about... that they all... no, I'm not saying it now. I can't say it. I was going to say it, but I'm not going to say it. What news story have you got? I forgot how we started.
We've got... we were going to go with the teenagers, what were coming out, saying they've got poor GCSE grades.
Well, yeah, here we are. I mean, I always have a little shout at society, but it's because I'm still perplexed as to how the fall is still going on.
Yeah.
I'm still perplexed by it. But I also ask myself, when did I discover? What was it that made me discover? It doesn't matter, I've said that, but I realise that I could have been blind to all this, and still could have been blind to all of it. But once you're not blind to it, you've got to speak out. You've got to do this. And it may sound that we're defeatist and we're accepting the system for what it is. And that's actually part of what you have to do. You have to accept it's here, and you have to deal with what you have.
Yeah, with what you've got.
You know, none of our gurus are saying, get yourself to council meetings, get yourselves on the council, hand out DVDs at school gates, make yourself your own flyers, your own newsletters. They're not saying that, are they? And do you know why they're not saying it? Because we don't want to. We don't want to.
No, we don't really want to do that.
See, well,
really,
you and I have tried it, and I'm going to stand for council next year, and I'm trying to get into I'm going to get up the council's nose a little bit. I had a meeting a couple of weeks ago with a guy called Nigel Ward. I'm going to pursue that next week. We should be able to get him on the show maybe next week. And he's tackling what you might call low-level corruption in North Yorkshire County Council. But good. Yeah. Let's learn how to do this. Let's learn the ropes. I'm going to stand for council next year.
Yeah, good.
Do I expect to get on? Well, probably not. Probably not. But I'm going to have a go. You can talk the talk all day, Paul.
Yeah.
It's time to walk the walk.
Yeah.
It's time to walk the walk, talk a lot.
Time to have a go.
It is time to have a go, yeah. It's time to have a go and get involved. I mean, they say, you go in there wanting to change politics and come out changed by politics. Well, I'd be interested to see if it works on me. I have a feeling I may well be... should I get in? I have a feeling I may well be not invited to some of the more interesting parties and meetings. Not quite sure. Because I'm not going to play the game. No. I'm not going to bend down and say yes sir, no sir, 3 bags full sir. I'm going to actually try and get involved. I'm not going to be nasty. I'm just going to ask the questions that people don't ask.
Yeah,
it's like the question
to ask.
When you get guests on your show, and we spoke about this before. What is the killer question that everyone's too embarrassed to ask?
What do you do for money?
Yeah, nobody asks that, do they?
What do you do for a job?
And we're guilty, aren't we?
We are, yeah.
Where do you get your money from?
Yeah.
How do you manage to fly around the world? How do you fly around the world? You have all these wonderful cameras. Now, I'm not being suspicious here. Just put my mind at rest. Where's the money come from?
Yeah.
You know, you've got 42-inch TVs, you've got £1,200 cameras, you seem to have most of the days off.
Yeah.
You seem to meet all sorts of people that we can't seem to get access to.
The computer system to load it all up to YouTube. And
just asking where's the bloody money come from.
I've got an 120 quid second-hand laptop.
But going back to... I played Dignity by Deacon Blue on purpose. I love the song, by the way. I love it. It's about a road sweeper, and he doesn't care what other people think about him. He's saving up for his little boat to go sailing.
Yeah.
And he's got dignity and respect and pride. I love it because it's what's missing. Yeah. It's what's missing in today's modern world. And I'm not going to pick on people. You've heard all these conversations before about, oh, this and oh, that and oh, the other. If we're going to actually be derogatory to the kids, they sure as hell ain't going to be happy to pay your pension.
No.
They're not going to want to pay your pension either.
No.
And these are really saddening stories that we've got. These are very saddening stories.
Well, it's putting the pressure on the kids again, isn't it?
Yeah, but look at those figures. look at those figures. We've spoke about this before, but now here it is.
Mail Online again.
Well, yeah, it's just
the
government propaganda arm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but these are these are the stories that are put into reality for people to repeat and believe.
Yeah.
Right. This newspaper does not say, all right, parents, think about what you're doing. Parents, these are your kids. The reason why their future is limited is not wholly because of the school.
No.
Okay? It's because you've allowed a system to be built around you that says, don't you worry about this, we'll look after that for you.
Them for you, yeah.
You see, we've got a system here, and I live in the system just like you do. And I get my bins emptied, my street lights are on, okay, every night they work, and if a bulb goes out, they fix them. The potholes are pretty much filled in the road, not always, but pretty much filled in as they appear. I've got a subsidised swim baths. I've got a library that I can use for free. I can almost any book I can get for free. Okay, I've got a whole army of bureaucrats and servants that will sort out any property disputes, any neighbour-related problems. They'll keep the police force doing the job. I've got the police force available to help me if I need them. I've got the fire service on call if I need them. And that service costs an average family about £8 each a week. So it's not an all bad system, is it? No. Now, the bit I missed out was that we'll educate your kids.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's not what's happening, is it?
No.
That's not what's happening at all. We're moving into we won't need to read and write anymore.
No, we're definitely
maths has gone.
That way.
Okay, maths has gone.
Yeah.
Right, nobody can do maths, not really. That's what we've got calculators for. Right, okay. Well, you're right about calculators, but see, when people come in my shop, I can actually fool them with my super special offers. Because I do have some super special offers. I've got 1.5 litre bottles of Coke at £1.50 each or 3 for a £5. And I can sell the 3 for a £5 relatively simple. I've got cans of poppers, 70p each or 4 for £3. I can do these offers and then get away with it. Bread buns, 25p each or 4 for £1. You see, so the ability to do maths, even basic maths, we do need to hold on to it. When you go to your supermarkets and you try and calculate them special offers, next time you go to your supermarket and try and calculate which is your best offer, can't do it, can you? Can't do it, can you? Can't do it because they're all sort of different bottle sizes.
Yes, it's the
1 litre. I was doing it with conditioner today. 1 litre and then 1.87 litre. That was a special offer bottle. Then you do the maths on the 2 litre one. You think, well, that's dearer. But you have to be careful. It's like when you read the labels on the back about what's in them. You think, oh, that's saturated fat 2% and 4% and add it in. But they don't do the whole bowl usually.
No.
It usually like per 100 grams.
100 grams, yeah.
And there's like 500 grams in the bowl and you're going to eat all of it.
Yeah.
So it's 5 times that list.
Yeah.
But you don't realise that. These little tricks are working really well.
They are.
They are working
Perfectly.
very, very well. Parents, or parents as you're going to find you'll be called in the future, as you were called in the past. The parents. Because you don't own anything. Right? People say, I don't own my car. I mean, I've heard this loads of times, about the registered keeper on your car,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
Now, we know that, but people don't read that properly, right? This registered keeper is correct, but it's not correct either. Because it's on the V5 ownership document.
Yes.
Right, and the registered keeper is just in case that you bought it and your daughter's the number one user. All right, so you still retain ownership of it. But it's like for company cars. The company car can be owned by BP, for example.
Yeah.
But the registered keeper, the guy whose company car it is the name on the document.
On the document, yeah.
But the people that they have are half-cocked. I've just seen a YouTube video, so I know stuff. It's actually on the ownership document. Now, I know registering means that you've got to follow their rules, but that's true with everything. They say, yeah, it's your car, but you've got to follow our rules.
Yeah.
But the car's yours, unless you don't follow their rules. So this registered keeper thing, don't get fooled on that because you'll get tripped up by somebody who does know the difference. So your car is your own unless you don't follow the rules. Okay, you've actually got the V5 ownership document. The keeper thing is just in case it's not yours. If you've bought it for your son or your daughter or even for your next door neighbour over the road and said they can use it.
Yeah.
Whatever price, that's the difference. So they know whose it is and where it lives.
And where it lives,
it's not always the same place.
Yeah. And where to send the ticket.
Yeah, where to send the ticket, and the fine there, yeah. But back to the parents.
Back to the
the
kids,
parents, okay? The fact that we've had libraries and the fact that we've always had access to libraries is a very important part of this explanation that I want to go through. Because libraries are made from the word liberty and literary. Okay, free reading.
Yeah.
Okay, free reading, liberty and literary. Now, pretty much about like the kids going to the students going to university and this sort of thing for the. Well, we were at lunch today with a lady who's homeschooled 2 teenagers.
Yeah, she has.
And she sent them to what I still call junior school. I'm not quite sure what the correct terminology is. She sent them to a good old-fashioned school. She called it a good old-fashioned school. She said the head school teacher was old school, and she was happy to send her boys there.
Yeah.
But at 11, she took them out at 11 and homeschooled them through the 11 to 16 years. And she's taken responsibility as a parent. And we asked her, didn't we? Said, how hard is it?
Oh.
And what did she say?
It's not hard at all.
It's not hard at all.
No.
It's easy, really.
Yeah, they actually get help.
But it was easy.
Yeah.
She said that the way that the school does it is in small segments and a number of different lessons every day. I mean, I think in my day we did 4 in the morning, 3 in the afternoon, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
It was about a 7-day block,
seven
lesson block.
Yeah.
Well, if you want to make sure that you don't remember anything, do 7 different subjects in the day. And when your kids get home at night, you say, "What have you been up to at school today?" Nothing.
Yeah. Didn't do much.
Nothing interesting.
No.
So yeah, you just get them sat down for half an hour, 35 minutes of one, then up they get, the bell rings, up they get, and then 700 kids have to change classes while 20 teachers sit in the same place.
Yeah.
Brilliant system, isn't it? Why the 20 teachers can't move around and the kids stay, I don't know, but that's not the way it works, is it?
No.
Dog training.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
But back to the parents, what I'm trying to say is, if you want to claim the status as parents, your kid's education is up to you. The school will do the basics, but you should be taking upon yourselves the rest.
Yeah.
I've had school teachers in here who say, that the parents actually think that they should be doing their job, teaching the kid manners and respect and the basics. And they think school should be teaching them how to wash, cook, clean and iron. And I wouldn't argue with that. I wouldn't actually argue with that. But what we have thousands of teenagers coming out of school, slave training camp. When do they go to 18? When do they make them go? Is it a couple of years?
No, I think it's next year, isn't it?
Is it next year?
Next year, yeah. In fact, I wrote a little note down as we...
They'll be bloody brain dead by then.
I'll get back onto that. But it's saying here that they're coming out of school, third of teenagers, poor GCSE grades, have resigned themselves to a life on the dole. And
what a shame! What a shame! What a shame that I mean, I feel sorry for those kids.
Yeah,
I can think of one or two that come in here that they've given up. They've given up without trying. I mean, that's broken.
Yeah,
they're broken. They're broken people, and they've given up without trying. Now the system's not going to let them get away with this forever. I was actually in one of the video shops uptown, buying one of the power packs for my computers. And I went up to the video shops, and the guy was busy, and stood next to me was a young fella. And he was looking through all the new games and raking through the exchanges and that sort of thing. And I thought, oh, might as well. So I said, this place is absolutely stacked with video. I didn't realise they were that popular. He said, oh, yeah. He said, yeah, this is a brilliant exchange. You play the song on an exchange, and it's a bring and buy type thing. And we didn't say that, you know what I mean? But I said that. And I said, well, I understand gaming is very popular, but seems almost too popular. This place is like heaving. I mean, is this... Oh, yeah, in the future we'll all be doing... did he say The Simpsons, or what movie was it? Yeah, we'll all be sat in an easy chair playing games. There'll be no jobs for us. We won't care. So he said. So he said that they're just looking forward to a life of playing games. Because they're already accepted there'll be no jobs. And this is only a few months ago. Right,
yeah.
If we don't invest in the younger generation, that's it. The game's up. The game's up.
Yeah, it's misleading though, isn't it? The kids are reading this as well, and thinking, oh well.
You think? You think the kids are reading that?
Well, there were some interviewed on the news. I know that, but it was only not last year. Was it the year before? They were saying that when Gove got in, and he was saying the A-level results. The A-level results had gone through the roof. They were a 90-odd% pass rate, and they were blaming it that the exams were too easy. And then we've come full circle now, and now we're saying the kids can't even be bothered to take the GCSEs.
On my Facebook page.
On
my Facebook page is an exam paper from 1912.
Right.
I think it's American, but it's an exam paper from 1912. And I'm going to have a little look for it, actually. When we're playing the next song, I'm going to have a little look for it.
Mm.
Now, I know that we live in a world of sound bites. And I can put my hand up and say, yes, I actually know that's true, because that's the way I try and remember things. I only get little bits at a time. And when I've listened to talks before over the years, I can't remember the talk. That's impossible. But I remember the bits, the sound bites, the one-liners.
Yeah.
The things that resonated with me, that I got first time. It's a bit like a young kid with a swear word, isn't it? Yeah. You just have to say the swear word once and they go, oh, that was different.
Yeah.
And look how everybody reacted when they said that. Bollocks, bollocks, bollocks. And see what happens when I say it. Don't they? You never do. And they're only 4 or 5 and you think, they picked this up first time.
Too quick.
But they recognise the tone of voice. You see, kids are much smarter than we think. In fact, I think kids are much smarter than we are.
Yeah.
I think they are.
They are smarter than we've ever given credit for. That's for true.
And the system is hell-bent on making them... They come out worse than when they went
in. You said earlier, are they going to when they're raising the school leaving age to 18?
Yep.
I think it's next year, isn't it? Oh, is it now? And the book I've been reading at the moment, in the 1920s and between the 20s and 30s, they raised the school leaving age to 15.
Uh-huh.
And previous to that, it was 14. But what it doesn't say in the book, and I know this for a fact, because my granddad was one of them. At the age of 14, you went and sat the 11 plus.
Yep. And
you can still do that today. I know my kids did the 11 plus, and for the school that they went to. And my granddad didn't pass the 11 plus, and he was 14, but his elder brother did. And he won a scholarship to one of the local grammar schools, as it was then, Prince Henry's Grammar School in Otley.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah, and, well, I've had a beer.
Uh-huh.
And good old John Smith's. Getting ugly people laid for ages. And
he looked at me when he said that. He'll smack his hands and face and send a note home to his mother.
My granddad went straight into work at 14, working for a builder.
Yep.
And that's where he learnt his trade, bricklaying and stonemaking.
But we see kids everywhere ready for working at 14. They're ready.
Yes, they're ready for it.
They're actually ready at 14. They're ready
for a job.
Reading, they're not going to be academic.
No.
But we don't need to make well, maybe the rise of the robots.
Yes.
Let's talk about the rise of the robots in just a second. You know what? If you ask most people, what do they actually want from life? It changes as you get older, doesn't it?
Mm.
But the basics are there when you're younger. And the basics for me, and I think most people that I've spoke to, they agree. You want to find somebody and settle down.
Mm-hmm.
You want a job that you can put up with, that you can do, that doesn't actually break your back, literally, before you're 50. You want to live in a world of sharing and caring, not lying and dying.
Mm-hmm.
You want to sleep with a smile on your face, and you're happy to pay the going rate for the services that we choose to provide for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And if possible, you'd like to be able to save a little bit to feel like you've been successful. It feels like there's a reward.
Yeah.
Because you've got a little bit left.
Mm-hmm.
You're making a profit. Because you are judged on the company you keep. Because you're the company. You are the company. You might think it's your friends. That's only a small part of what you're going to be judged on. You're the company. You're the one doing business. You're the one trading yourself.
Yeah.
And if you're trading at a profit, it feels like you've been successful. And you want to get old. And you want to sit on the back step. And you want to say hello to the kids that walk by. What have we built? What have we allowed to be built?
Mm-hmm. What have we allowed to be built?
We've built a system that cares not one jot about us.
It doesn't give a toss about us.
We've allowed a system to be built that steals off us, that lies to us constantly.
Lies to us constantly, yes.
We built a system that keeps us sick and tired and confused. We've built a system where we don't know who to trust, where we live in a world of paranoia, where we're frightened of the dark, and we don't speak to people we don't know. We don't look them in the eye, and we don't help people, the older ones. We don't help them like we should.
No.
And yet we've forgotten. What truly makes us happy is helping other people.
Mm.
That is the secret of life, is to actually help other people. Isn't the biggest thing that you can do is to help somebody who you know can't help you back. It is the most wonderful, thrilling feeling that you've been able to do some good in the world, and you don't want paying for it.
Yeah, those times are more rewarding.
It's the most great feeling because you feel successful, you feel a good person. You feel the very world itself saying thanks very much.
Yeah.
Just to you. Just to you, because you did it. And it's a very special moment that only you can describe to yourself. And you don't need to tell anybody. You just know that you've got one up for you.
And that's what separates us from the politicians, I suppose, because they don't... All they care about is themselves. They must do to be able to do what they do.
But we've built a dark system.
Yeah, we've
allowed it.
We've allowed it to happen, collectively.
It's part of a cycle. It is part of a cycle of life. And I wish I could say it's not part of the cycle of life. But this scientific dataship understands us very well. It knows that we're stronger when we're put under adversity. We've said this before. We wouldn't do what we have to do if we didn't have to do it. We would be the pandas. We'd be the pandas. We'd sit on and let people pander to us.
Yeah.
We would. And that's what's happened to those above us. That's why if we carry on the same path now, the politicians will assume the status of royalty.
Yes.
And eventually they'll be probably carried about in carriages and state vehicles. They've already got red carpets and flags.
They have,
They're already bowing to each other.
And state vehicles.
It's coming, isn't it?
Yeah.
So they are assuming royalty status.
Yeah.
And now you can't speak to them. You know, they're untouchable. They're becoming the untouchables, aren't they?
Yeah.
But it is a scientific dictatorship we're under. You know, this is it. This is what they always said that they wanted to build. This is what Huxley was talking about in Brave New World.
New World, yeah.
And what he spoke about in about 1962, I think it was, at some university in America. I've got it somewhere.
You've got the...
Well, I'm going to find that. I'm going to play it. To end out the show, I'm going to find that. And it's from Berkeley, I think. 62 Berkeley, 1962. And they understand that it's the challenge that we like, isn't it? As a man, I enjoy the challenge.
Yeah.
I enjoy whatever the challenge is, you take it on. And the best thing is that if you fail, you'll learn.
Yeah.
You'll learn that that's not the way to do it. Like Mr. Edison said. How many light bulbs did he make before he got the one that worked? Some say thousands. Some say, I don't know. Some say he didn't make it. Well, get out of my... Stop ruining conversation. Loads of people do that, don't they? Yeah. You talk about, you generalise, and you say, it would appear that this is what's happened. Well, I know somebody who isn't doing that. And you think, oh, here we go. I know 99 who are doing it, but I don't do that. They always personalise it, don't they? Yeah. Everybody always thinks you're talking about them. There's an ego for you.
There is, yeah.
Here we are, sat on the radio, talking to an invisible audience, and people are sat in the chairs going, he's talking about me. Is he talking about me? No, we're not.
No.
But if you think I am, then maybe you're listening. Maybe it is you. Maybe after all. What have they created for us, though? Because instead of this challenge, they've created a bed of decadence, haven't they? They've made us decadent and lazy.
They have, yeah.
But we know we're doing wrong.
We do, yeah.
We do know we're doing wrong.
You do, yeah.
And they sell it to us like the kids get it sold, you know, with the culture, the pop culture, the Lady Gaga, like it's risque, isn't it? It's good to look at this stuff. It's good to wear the devil on your T-shirt and do the makeup and the drug. I mean, this is a money, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. They always miss the money out, don't they? Yeah. They say sex, drugs, and rock and roll because that's the bits we get. They get the bloody money. All right, guns, power, And money is the real truth.
It is.
Everything else is just illusion for us.
Power, yeah.
Everything else is just illusion to hold on to, a fairy tale we call a dream.
Yeah, if you haven't got them, you've not got
We haven't
got anything.
We can't challenge them in the way that some people say we should.
You can't challenge
them. Last week I said we should be wearing the fluorescent jackets when we go down to these gatherings.
Yeah,
we should learn that this is a costume drama.
Dress
this is a costume drama we take.
Yeah.
And remember, they get their power from wearing their costume.
Yeah.
If they were wearing jeans and a t-shirt, you would not recognise them. Therefore, they would not have any power. Yeah. But no. Black trousers, black shoes,
high-vis vest, black baseball cap,
and that apparently gave them. We asked for no further ID. We asked for no. Because the costume drama works.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we should play costume dramas.
Try that, yeah.
Maybe we should have a costume drama.
Next.
And maybe and don't buy that bloody mask.
No.
That bloody V for Vendetta mask.
No, don't.
All right.
Don't be frightened of them seeing your face.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Don't be frightened of that.
Well, anybody who's wearing a mask is because they daren't show the face.
If
you daren't show your face, you're in the wrong group.
Yeah.
Okay, you're in the wrong bit. All right, you need to be right at the back. Near the car, all right? You're in the wrong bit, mate, as Steve Hughes would say. You're in the wrong bit, mate. Your feet wet. So, yeah, I think so, yeah. Shoulders, square your shoulders, puff your chest out, get your high-vis vest on, and let's say, hey guys,
yeah.
we're
equal.
We see ourselves as a collective power. There's quite a lot of us here, and we're not here for trouble today.
No.
And I know you're not here for trouble today, so we won't be having any, will we? And we're going to make our line here, and we'd like you to respect that line if you don't mind. And we will be watching very carefully to make sure that you don't break the rules.
Yeah.
Okay? So if you do, we will actually surround you, and we'll arrest you for breaking the rules. So if you arrest one of ours and we think it's unjust, we're going to surround you and we'll arrest you. And then you'll say, yeah, but if we actually did that, there'll be all hell on. Yeah, they would. Yeah, they would. Well, that gives them just the excuse they need to spin it in the press and make sure that they can enforce even more draconian laws that we can't protest, we can't gather together. We never used to ask him, did we?
No.
Never used to ask him at all, did we?
No.
Lots of things we should be doing, but I don't see much of it going on. Making friends with the police. Make friends with the older police. Make friends with the other... like you see going through the army in particular. The army, the recruit... Well, the 20-somethings, nearly 30s, lots of them have been let go. Busy recruiting the 17, 18, 19s. And this is from a lady who's leaving the army. A young lady who's leaving the army who comes to my shop. She told me this out of her own mouth. She said, yes, they won't ready you by the time you're 30. You're starting to figure it out. You won't do as you're told. You just see it for what it is. You see it for what it is, that they want you out. So they're cutting at one end and recruiting the other. I said, well, that's what I see, but no one talks about it. Guy from the Navy told me the same thing. Yeah, told me the same thing. He said, it's just, they want to find the right people. And the right people are, like they used to be, go kill them for money. Don't ask questions, just go kill them.
Yeah.
Now we know we're going to automated systems, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
The rise of the machines is coming. Are we self-destructing? Are we self-destructing by design?
Yeah, I think so. They're giving us enough rope, so we'll hang ourselves. That's what it is.
Do you think they know that we're going to party ourselves to death? There was a discussion, which you can find, a quote on the internet. Shall we just kill them or let them party themselves to death? And you think they don't talk like these at these meetings? Oh, they do. Oh, they do. I try and sit in the imaginary chair that they might sit in and look. And it's not that difficult to see what view they might be seeing. Because we do have access to the information that can change your mind. And we always have had. We do have the opportunity to read the books that they read.
Yeah.
And we do still have the opportunity to speak to whoever we want, travel and go where we want to go. It's not working, is it?
No, but you ask yourself the question then: do you want to join them? Are you wanting to read those books and everything like that? So you want to join them? And
good point.
And there, you do have to ask yourself at some point which side of the line do you want to be on?
How have they got this level of control?
Yeah.
By knowing us, by knowing
exactly
what we are.
Right,
they have intercepted our food chain, our water chain,
Yeah.
They are now monitoring all communications live time.
Yeah.
They have propagandised the people.
They have,
To such an extent, we don't know which is true and which isn't now.
No.
We do not know if the truth's in the news or the films.
And it works in about a decade. A government that's in power has roughly about a decade.
If they're lucky.
If they're lucky. Once the decade's up,
Well, the
that's it.
government of the day...
They're more or less
I mean,
done.
let's talk about Conservatives and Labour, shall we?
Yeah.
Let's talk, because is there a difference between Conservatives and Labour?
No.
Well, the answer now is no.
There never was.
Yeah, but let's talk about why the Labour Party was set up.
Mm.
Why was the Labour Party set up? You tell me.
It was as a fake opposition.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it was. It was to manipulate the figures and the people at the end of the day. That's all it was.
When people got sick of the same control system.
Yeah.
When people got sick of the same control system, they gave them the illusion of another one.
Of another one. And while that one was in,
Yeah.
and I'm guilty of that, I voted the Blair government in, and because that's what I was indoctrinated with socialism.
Yeah.
And until you realise now that while that government's in, the red tops are in,
Yep.
the blue tops are busy formulating the next plan on what the red tops have put in place.
Well, I mean, we've got to say even
And vice versa.
yeah, because they're just fighting for who sits in first class. This is just a management team for the system that never moves.
That never moves, yeah.
Never moves. I mean, 13 years of Labour, the Conservatives come in, or the Condems come in, right, and change. There's a big list of things that changed. With nothing on it.
It is, and going back in history, you find that coalition governments, which was in before the Second World War...
I know you're going to say this. Coalition governments...
are renowned for doing absolutely nothing.
Hung.
Hung out to dry parliaments.
You only have to go back to 1976, don't you? The film Network. Remember the film Network?
No, I can't remember that one.
No. Have a listen. Have a listen.
And you have meddled with the primal forces of nature. And you will atone. Am I getting through to you, Mr. Beale? You get up on your little 21-inch screen and howl about America and democracy. There is no America. There is no democracy. There is only IBM and ITT and AT&T and DuPont, Dow, Union Carbide, and Exxon. Those are the nations of the world today. What do you think the Russians talk about in their councils of state? Karl Marx? They get out their linear programming charts, statistical decision theories, Minimax solutions, and compute the price-cost probabilities of their transactions and investments, just like we do. We no longer live in a world of nations and ideologies, Mr. Beale. The world is a college of corporations, inexorably determined by the immutable bylaws of business. The world is a business, Mr. Beale. It has been since man crawled out of the slime. And our children will live, Mr. Beale, to see that perfect world in which there's no war or famine, oppression or brutality. One vast and ecumenical holding company for whom all men will work to serve a common profit, in which all men will hold a share of stock, all necessities provided, all anxieties tranquilized, all boredom amused. And I have chosen you, Mr. Beale, to preach this evangel.
Why me?
Because you're on television, dummy. 60 million people watch you every night of the week, Monday through Friday.
I have seen the face of God.
You just might be right, Mr. Beale.
Have a little think about that. Because in the movie Network, Mr. Beale is raging against the machine. And he was chosen to bring the new system in via the media of television. So what are we doing? 17 minutes past 10, Tuesday the 13th of August 2013. Welcome back then to our final part of our show. My name's Paul.
My name's Andy.
And we are live on Awake Radio and on Blog Talk, so thank you whichever method you're using to listen to us. This is our Tuesday night, I'm going to say apology, because I actually am recording this as an apology to my little girl.
Yeah.
And the apology goes quite simple. After recognising what was wrong, it was mostly me. Because it was me that was wrong about mostly what was going on.
Yeah.
And when I recognised that I was the problem, I did all I could to fix it. But in fixing me, I found it took a long time. And then I couldn't fix other people. Because they didn't realise they were broken.
No, you've got to realise.
And what makes them realise they're broken is when they're broke. When they've got nothing left. When it's all been taken away. When they actually sit in the corner of a house that isn't theirs, with nothing to show for a life of hard work. Because they have been taking part in a rigged game.
Yeah.
It's like a card game of hearts and diamonds. The hearts is the love that everybody needs. If you actually didn't actually touch a newborn baby, if you no physical contact, it would die.
It will.
It will die.
Within a matter of weeks as well, isn't it?
I think it was 6 months or thereabouts. But if we don't actually experience love, we will die. Maybe not physically at this age, but maybe spiritually and mentally. The diamonds are the Wheel of Fortune. Because it is a Wheel of Fortune. You take your chances and play the game. It's a roulette wheel.
Yeah.
But it's a rigged roulette wheel. But still we play because it's the only game.
Yes, it's the only one we're allowed to compete in.
And those are the reds. But then we've got the blacks. The blacks are the clubs. The clubs that we can join. But also the clubs that we've been bashed over the head with.
Beaten with, yeah.
These are the clubs that turn into spades to bury us. Because this game is a rigged game in a casino called a stock market.
Yeah.
And we are the stock.
Yeah. Derivatives.
Yes, we are. Now, I played the network clip there, and I butted in before I played the song by saying, listen to that clip again. We'll put it below the YouTube video. This YouTube video will be on tomorrow, all being well, thanks to Phil. Your Facebook, my Facebook, Phil's Facebook. You can contact us through the YouTube channel. Please feel free to do so. We welcome your comments. If it's a compliment, thanks very much. But if it's something different, if it's an addition, or even a subtraction, we will read it. We don't do this for fame and fortune, because there isn't any. There's no money in this. I come back to the apology to my little girl that it took me too long to learn what was wrong with me. The recordings, the books, and everything that I think might help her, she'll have access to them probably 20, 30 years before I did. Whether she chooses to do that, that's where
her choice,
I have got. I've got. She's making her way. She's only young, like she's only 11. She's trying to get on in the new world, and it doesn't make sense for me to try and interrupt that, because she's doing okay. She's doing okay. So my time will come in the future, but it's not now. No, she's not. It's just not now. The network clip. What does it say? All amusement board. All amusement will be entertained. You'll be drugged. A new system of socialism, which is what it pretty much says. And Mr. Beale, the man who rages against the machine, has been chosen to bring it in. So what are we doing?
What are we doing, yeah?
Are we actually providing the resistance that an energy source that a current needs to travel in a straight line? Are we actually keeping it within within its boundaries.
On the right tracks.
Is it us, the resistance, that keeps the management team above us in line? Is it that we provide resistance so they follow orders? Because if there was no resistance, they wouldn't recognise the control system and its power, would they?
No.
They'd just be able to do what they wanted.
Yeah, they would, yeah.
But they have to report to their headquarter as well, don't they? Because individually they can't do this, but collectively as a team they can. And because we provide the resistance, they always have to submit to a higher authority and intelligence to tell them how to control the resistance.
Yeah.
So this is the currency control, the flow, isn't it? And without resistance, the actual energy would dissipate.
No.
It wouldn't. It would dissipate and bounce off walls.
Yeah.
So we are the confines.
We're the voltage. We're pushing it through.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we are. We're doing the news service a great favour, aren't we? Because we're repeating what they want us to repeat. Otherwise, it wouldn't be in print for us to do so. Most people listening won't be able to understand that we're enabling this system to move along.
Yeah, it needs us as much as we need it.
We don't need it very much, do we?
No, we don't need their bit, really.
I mean, this is the mass age that we're in. If you put mass age together, you get massage. And we are being needed. As you need bread.
Yeah. And you've got to prove the bread as well.
The fact that the fact that we know this, doesn't that indicate a level of knowing, a level of intelligence that is way above me?
Well, now, in regard to this problem of the ultimate revolution, this has been very well summed up by the moderator. In the past, we can say that all revolutions have essentially aimed at changing the environment in order to change the individual. I mean, there's been the political revolution, the economic revolution, in the time of the Reformation, the religious revolution. All these aimed, as I say, not directly at the human being, but at his surroundings, so that by modifying the surroundings you did achieve, at one remove, an effect upon the human being. Today we are faced, I think, with the approach of what may be called the ultimate revolution, the final revolution, where, well, it seems to me that the nature of the ultimate revolution with which we are now faced is precisely this, that we are in process of developing a whole series of techniques which will enable the controlling oligarchy, who have always existed and presumably always will exist, to get people actually to love their servitude. This is seems to me the ultimate in malevolent revolution, shall we say. And this is a problem which has interested me for many years, and about which I wrote 30 years ago a fable, The Brave New World, which is essentially the account of a society making use of all the devices at that time available, and some of the devices which I imagined to be possible, making use of them in order to, first of all, to standardize the population, to iron out inconvenient human differences, to create, so to say, mass-produced models of human beings arranged in some kind of a scientific caste system. And
I would say we're there.
Yeah.
We're pretty much there, aren't we? I mean, the fact that we have access to this stuff only makes sense if we're meant to have access to this stuff. Yeah?
Yep.
Now, we've been doing this for over 5 years, haven't we? We've been talking about it, looking at it, and we started off where everybody starts off with the let's challenge a parking ticket, didn't we? You know, we're going to save the world by challenging a parking ticket. But that's how everybody starts. And then we thought we'd go to some council meetings, and we realised that wasn't the place for us at the time.
No.
And then we went to some of the meetings in Manchester.
Yeah.
Because we live in North Yorkshire, and this appears to be a rather affluent part of the world.
Yeah, it does,
where we
really
can find very few people financially in trouble. You know, we can't find people not many people down on the uppers, as it were. I don't know why they say that. But what they call uppers, I don't know. But we find them in Manchester and Birmingham and Liverpool. You know, those are the. It seems to be that the poorer areas pick up on this stuff a lot quicker. Like Pippa, who went to lunch with today, she was at a talk last night in Hull from Santos Bonacci.
Yeah.
And Hull again is you know that's not an unemployment black spot. I'm not trying to be nasty about Hull, but there are certain parts of the country where there are bigger concentrations of poor people.
Yeah, unemployment black spots.
Yeah,
they're
just you know, they are concentrated areas of poor people, and those areas are increasing in number. But what I'm trying to say is, this isn't where we are today. Is where we've always been. That the government works against us, always lines their own pockets and pays the control system above them.
Yeah.
But it's back to what I said. The corruption is now intensifying, isn't it? Now the newspapers. You can argue with me here, and I don't mind because I can't hear you. But the newspapers are doing their part in telling us what they're up to. Sort of.
Yeah.
Because the newspapers give us day after day after day the scope of horror that we're having to be subjected to.
Yep.
And it's weakening us. We're now passé about it, almost blasé about it.
Yeah.
We just
apathy.
We just turn the pages, looking for something that we might be interested in. And what do you find in the middle pages? Well, the celebrity, fashion, culture, TV, and gossip.
Yeah.
And either side there's the political stuff at one side. The middle pages are always celebrity, TV, fashion, culture, gossip, and then the back bit's the sport bit.
Yeah.
And most of them are pretty much similar formats.
Similar format, yeah.
And which bits do we read the most? Well, the middle bits for the girls, and the back bits for the guys. It's not by mistake that they're all sort of set up in the same way, as it were. And we have red tops and blue tops. So you can be a Labour or a Tory. Or you can be a coward and be a Lib Dem. You know, a homosexual coward or a lesbian, you'd be a Lib Dem. You know, you pretend to be green while hating everybody. You know, that's well, there is an unusual number of interesting. I mean, there is. Yeah. You know, if you're not one or the other, you must be a bit of both. Look closely and tell me I'm wrong. Go on. Look closely and tell me I'm bloody wrong. Go on. Bit of both. We swing either way because we're on the swingometer. We swing to the blue and we swing to the left and we swing to the right. In fact, we could be called the swingers. Bloody cowards. Pass me one over here. I'll batter them and fry them. This is the system. It's always existed.
It has.
But there is one positive we can take from this. Without the internet, we wouldn't have learnt this, would we?
No, that is true.
So although it sounds like I am completely against the internet, without it we wouldn't know what we know now. But you do have to stop relying on it.
You do.
Because it's not going to be here in a way that we can... It's going to go away, this method.
It is.
It's going to replace the television.
It's going to be even more censored and
streamlined.
We're going to...
Everyone knows we're going to a singularity, which means there'll be the illusion of many. But ultimately, it will be controlled by one. Everything they give us is just before the bubble bursts. Every new thing they give us, we blow it up, and then it bursts. And the internet is going to change over time with these IDs. Because these IDs, these user IDs that everyone's going to get, we've all been made aware of them, these user IDs are going to be real simple. That's how you get on the internet. And you're going to go and be warned, these sites are not recommended. These sites are not accessible to you. This site is not recommended by the government. Whatever yeah. And if you go and try and find a way to get to that site, you're going to get one warning, you're going to get 2 warnings, and then you're going to be off. Because this system is so clever, it won't come and knock on your door anymore.
No,
it can't be bothered. Can't be bothered.
That costs too much money to do that.
They're as lazy as we are. They've figured out a remote control system that says, "Oi, we're watching you. Now stop going to them sites and saying that stuff." And you will. You will. And that'll be the end of it. We shall fall with a whimper. We will. That's how it's going to go. My advice? Download everything. Download everything. Get yourself a computer that never goes online and watch it through that. It's the only way.
Yeah.
Because that user ID is going to stop us. When? When they can get it in. It's already in the government. All the government departments are using it. And that user ID is unique to you. And once you're online, you're trackable and traceable.
Yeah.
And that's what you're going to use to get online. When? As soon as you let them do it. For another Tuesday.
Yeah.
It's good night from me.
And good night from me.
Thanks to everyone in the wake and to Blog Talk. We'll see you all next week. Have a good week. Till next week.